and I will address these questions at the end of the presentation. Today we'll be covering the following topics. Definition: what is the Excel add-in? Where can it be found and how can it be utilized? System software requirements: software product that the user must have on their machines before they can install the Excel add-in. Offline configuration of the Excel add-in: interacting with the Excel add-in without connecting to an agent server, to a running agent server. Online configuration: interacting with the Excel add-in while connected to a running agent server. Data element security and auditing: interaction with the Smart UI or Maps server. Historical data: this is the retrieval of logged data from a logged tag. The definition of the Excel add-in. The Excel add-in is a bulk online or offline tool for your Adroit agent database file, which is also known as a WGP file, which is primarily intended for advanced users. It is therefore assumed that you are familiar with working with the Adroit SCADA and the agent server and its agents. This presentation is to highlight the basics of the Adroit Excel add-in. The tool installed comes with the Adroit DVD under the section Additional Components or Utilities. System software requirements. The user must have Adroit 10 or Adroit SCADA installed on their machine. If the user has Adroit version before 8, the Adroit Excel add-in tool is not available for any Adroit version that is before Adroit 8. Second software that the user needs, it's 32-bit Microsoft Excel 2013 or higher. In other words, you can use Excel 2013, 2016, 2019, or you can also use 32-bit Microsoft Excel 365. Your user also needs to have basic knowledge of Excel and also be familiar with Adroit. The offline configuration simply means to be able to use the Excel add-in without connecting to an agent server. First of all, the user needs to install the Excel add-in from our Adroit DVD or from Adroit soft copy flash drive. After installing the Adroit Excel add-in, there will be an Adroit tab in Excel menu item. When the tab is selected, the dashboard that it's going to be shown, that is the offline state of the Excel add-in, which will allow the user very minimum functionalities that they can perform. The user can be able to open the help file for the Excel add-in. The user can connect to an agent server, and lastly, the user can be able to import GXWorks2 and GXWorks3 project global variables that they can create agents out of them later. Also, they can add them to a scan sheet and scan them when they are connected to an agent server. To view the offline mode, for example, I will be showing you just now. So as I said, there will be a tab after installing the Excel add-in, and that will allow you to be able to open the help file. And from there, you'll be able to connect to an agent server. You can select you want a local one, you want one on the network. And last but not least, you can be able to import global variables that are used with Maps SCADA products. Online configuration. Online configuration allows the user to achieve more functions or functionalities on the Excel add-in. This is when the user is connected to a live agent server or a running agent server. The agent server may be a local agent server running on a local machine, or it is maybe running on another machine on the same network as the user's machine. When you're online, you can retrieve agents from different agent types. Every agent type will be imported in its own worksheet. In other words, if you're gonna working with analog will be a worksheet. Digital will have its own worksheet, etc., depending on what the user is interacting with. When you're online, you can also achieve other important functionalities, which is scanning, alarming, and logging. For example, for you to connect to another machine, you should be able to see it on that list of computer names. Those computer names are computers that are currently running agent servers. So you can connect to any of those machines. Please note that you will need a remote license, and also you need permission from the other user that you can connect to their server. Or if it's it's a server from a workstation. Select sheet, in other words, select a type that you want to use, or a type that you want to interact with, you want to update, or you want to modify. Remember, when you're online, this will be modifying a WGP file. In order for the user to change from those types that we currently see there, because those are our default types, can select configuration template, which will open a window that has 4 columns. Available types is it's an agent types that comes from the basic and advanced types. And selected types, those are the types that the user currently using on this configuration. Selected slot, that is slot for each type. Available slot is a slot for each type. Selected slot is a slot that the user wants to use for that specific type. You can save your configuration. You can save it as a different name. You can open a previous configuration that you worked with. The user will be able to include header slots. There's a checkbox there. When the user click finish, this will create the sheets from the selected types. As I have highlighted there, as you can see on that list, when you click finish, those are the sheets that are going to be connected, created using those names. As you can see there, those are the tabs that were created. You don't have to do this all the time when you want to create a new sheet on your project. So as you can see, these are just empty sheets with the format. In order for you to see the list of agents belonging to each and every type, select refresh selected type, Please read the messages and accept or decline. So now as you can see, those are the agents for analogs. If you wanna refresh all the sheets, you don't have to go to each and every sheet and say refresh. You can just select refresh all the sheets. As you can see, that's updating all the sheets on your Excel workbook. All right. So the user can also be able to perform reports, your custom reports, using live data from the agent server. As you can, I show you the group that you can use to create your own reports. Uh, Historical data for an agent. I will show that later on this current presentation. So for each type, for each sheet type of agents, you have group called agent and slot. In that group, you can do couple of agent and slot functionalities. You can add agents, remove agent. For example, you're going to create an agent called test under the integer type. We add the agents, you get a message of it is added, or if there's a failure, you'll see a red color. If it's green, it's successful. You can also refresh to see if that has been achieved. You can also get values, slot values. You can also set the slot values. This can be done on multiple agents. This is a bulk editing tool. You can do as much as the user requires. Auto refresh refreshes data on the current sheet every minimum it's 10 seconds. You can set it higher, you cannot set it lower than 10 seconds. Configurations, you have the alarm, log, scan, and security. I'll explain security later. The alarming configuration, this you'll use to retrieve your alarming. You can alarm agents, you can unlock agents, and also you can select which alarm agent you want to use to alarm that particular tag or tags. Now we can go to logging. Under logging, also you will have a group for logging. You can log tags from the group and log tags. Under logging, you can also get values that get the value of your current logged tag slot. Remember, you have your configuration on the logging as a tuple of slot that you set. You can get the values of that slot. You can also set the value of that slot. In other words, updating a logged tag slot can be the start stop slot, can be the backup USB slot. Scanning, also scanning, when you open scanning, it will open its own group. The group will be called scanning. In that group, you'll be able to select devices that you want to use to scan different to scan text on the device. You can scan, you can analog text, and you can unscan a number of text that the user wants to achieve. Historical data retrieval. This functionality is used to retrieve collected data from a logged tag. In this functionality or configuration, the user will select their own period of time. On this period of time, the user must make sure that the tag was logged at that particular time period. Also, the user must please note that if they are requiring a large amount of data, the agent server will issue the user a message stating that it's too much data it cannot process. So the user must be careful of selecting a time period that will demand a large amount of data. This functionality is working in a one tag at a time format. In other words, you add one tag on the historical data sheet, you view the history of that tag, and then when you are done, you can save the workbook, and then you go and select another tag, then you add it to the historical data sheet, and then you retrieve the history of that particular tag in that way. It does not allow bulk retrieval of logged data. So please be in the lookout for such conditions. And as the user can see, first of all, you need to know which tags are logged. For me, I have an analog that I know that it's been logged for this presentation, and I'm gonna select it under my analogs. That's a sample analog, and I'm gonna add it to my history sheet by selecting the button there, historical sheet, add to history sheet. That will add the tag there, and I have to specify the slot that I know it's logged. Then I have a column called start date and end date. That's the period that you have to specify that I want data between these times or period. By default, when you select this period, we have a time period button. You can check on the group, on the historical data group. That gives you a time picker, a datetime picker that you can use. That datetime picker is set to look for a 24 time period. You can change it according to what you want. By default is a 24-hour period. And when you click OK from that period, that datetime dialog, it will update it. Then you can go to fetch history. That shows you the time and date. As you can see, the format have changed, and slot value and the quality. Then you can clear this page and add another tag according to what the user wants. Also, your sample rate, you can change it to according to your own specifications. Thank you very much for sharing your time. We hope you have all learned something today. If we achieved this, please click on the like and share buttons below to show your appreciation. The next topic is linking of simulators. That's GXWorks and GT Simulator. That will be live at 11 a.m. South African time on the 30th of July 2020. Finally, if you have any suggestions around this or other presentation topics, please email Samantha B at adroit.co.za. We're looking forward to hosting you at another of our events, and we thank you and goodbye.